Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Getting towards the last job on project E36, covered in vapour. It's really vapoury in this garage. And I've had the tyres taken off the wheels, and now I need to unbolt all of these, which I'm going to do in a second, and then take the centre section out. The barrel is one piece. I thought I might have to split the rim, you know, with a seal, but it's not. It's not. This is all one piece. So we've got, this is the innards. I mean, look, this is a painted finish as far as I'm aware. It looks like a painted finish to me. Yeah, it's a painted finish. You can't get at this and clean it, and this has probably never been cleaned. Well, I think I had them off once. But, I mean, look at the state of that. So I want to get these innards acid dipped, sanded, prepped, powder coated and ceramic coated, and cover them in ceramic. You don't see them, so I'm just going to cover the innards in ceramic and all this in ceramic. I'm just looking at these. Those bolts, yeah, those bolts are going to come off, so I'm going to have tons of bolts. Now, and then this bit is the bare metal finish, so I could get this polished up, you know, and then lacquer it. Which will help, because they go cloudy and you're forever polishing them, and you can't really easily polish in there without making a real mess. So I've always neglected that bit, never really done a great job of polishing in there. So you end up with like a rim where you polish here and then it looks a bit grotty in there. So you could lacquer it all, and then you wouldn't have to worry about sort of using metal polish on it. Just thinking out loud. You could change the colour of these centre sections. Could I go black, which might look quite good? Could I go anthracite, which might look quite good? Could I go gold, very subtle gold? You know, too gold might be a bit too blingy. But I'm thinking I'll just play it safe and just have them painted as close to this as you can. And then that will look, you know, when it's nice and new and refurbished, it just looks good, doesn't it? It just looks really good. So I think I'll just go with the OEM type of look for this RC90 alloy wheel. Got all the tyre sealant in here, but this is all going to hopefully come off when they're dipped. But I'm not worried about that. Don't give a monkeys about that. That's all the stuff that's covered. So that's my job that I'm going to do in a second. We've also got the centre cap sections. Oh, I never know, that one's got a little bit of damage on it. I'll hide that away at the bottom, it's all right. These I want to get painted in the same colour. I'll pop these BMW badges out, it's going to be fun. Because there's a cone under here, so you see these aren't, it's hard to get these level. So what I think I need to do is get like a sheet of adhesive block, and then cut a circle out and put the circle in there, and maybe even flatten down the tip of the mounting underneath this so that these sit flat. Put a bit of adhesive in as well. Hopefully I can get these out without destroying them, because they seem to be okay. Yeah, and then we get those painted. Then we get them back onto the car and we're done. So I need some bits, don't I? I'm just thinking about what I need. I've got some spline sets here. It's Allen key, isn't it? Let's see what we've got in here. Oh yeah, these should be ideal. So I think it's going to be like looks like, man, that might be a bit big. Let's just take the 5 as well. Always hedge your bets. Always hedge your bets. Let's have a look. Oh no, it was 6. Yeah, it's a 6. And that clears the rim, so I can get that on a drill. And then what size bolts? What do they look like? A 10 mil? So let's go and find a, oh, Jesus. Do not let that roll off or roll into the car. So I need the bigger 6 mil here. Yeah. Okay. How am I going to do this? I don't want to do it with a breaker bar. It's going to take forever. I need to get this on the drill. How am I going to get that on the drill? Oh, Jesus. I've got a drill piece adapter. Oh, it's the wrong size. No. How am I going to get that? I'll put that on there. Like that. No, but I've got a 1/2 inch. I need an impact driver, don't I? Is that half? Oh, okay. Great video, John. This one's going to have to go on the Unplugged channel. I'll be back in a second once I'm ready to roll. I want to be using a drill to undo these. I'm going to be here all day. I'll be back when I'm set up. Okay, I'm back. I had to put like sheath over the breaker bar. I should really use a bigger breaker bar. And I use that to loosen them all off with the breaker bar. Then after that, these have all got thread locker in them, obviously. And it's like snapping the thread locker that is the real challenge. And it is really horrible. This is hard work. This is going to take hours. So there's one. So this is what's involved. You've got to get dirty as well. I should use a bigger spanner really as well. There. So that's it cracking. Once it cracks, you can take the bolt off with your fingers. Like that. They're actually very good quality bolts, these. Really good condition. So, I think this is going to be at least 3 or 4 hours, and it's absolutely zapping to break them. It's strength zapping to just like turn them first of all. Like, I think I'm going to be done after. I just like even getting this first one done is going to do me. Yeah, that's a hysterical laugh. That is a laugh of like desperation, not a laugh of this could be fun. You get the idea. Gotcha. Look at that. It's the most sacred sight in the world. It's taken me over an hour to crack the glue thread locker. It's just a nightmare. I had to use a sleeved thing and a spanner. That's all I had. Got there in the end. I've taken the wheel weights out. Now obviously this thing is dug in there like an Alabama tick. Predator reference. So I think the only way I'm going to get this out is to turn it upside down, stick it on this mat and stamp on it. You know, that's the only way, isn't it? So let's try. It's not great for the finish, but it's all been acid dipped and powder coated. Look at it anyway, so who gives them monkeys? You know, you guys are like, when I'm cleaning the wheels with a brush, you're like, you're going to scratch the finish. It's an alloy wheel. Oh, it's going to take a hammering. But yes, I'm just going to abuse it. Let's see if we can get this out. Oh, there we go. There she blows. Wow, that's quite light now without that centre section in there. So, there was no sealant, I don't think. Oh, look at that. There was no sealant in there at all. So it just must be a good enough seal. Oh no, there doesn't need to be. What am I talking about? Yeah, the tyres, you dumbass. The tyre's going to be there to there, so you don't need sealant at all. All you need is thread locker. Yeah. Not as dumb as you sound, John. So of course you don't really need sealant for that bit, but it's not going to hurt, is it? But then it will be a nightmare for the next person. So yeah, no, you don't need sealant. It's good. Should I say it another time? You don't need sealant. If they're 3-piece, you're going to need sealant. Well, at least when you put the two halves of the wheel together. So this, a heavy old duty bit of metal that is, or alloy. So that's all going to get acid dipped. Look, it's not in bad shape actually. You could get away without doing this, but why go to all this trouble to have that done? You know, and this is starting to corrode, and that's eventually going to just spread. So yeah, get it all prepped, painted again, fresh kind of lease of life. These are just disgusting, but you can't clean them. It's like you can't clean them unless you take the alloy wheels off, and you can't really see them. So like, it's just, the barrel of this is always just going to be best efforts, isn't it? Although some of you guys tell me you take your alloy wheels off every time you clean your car. Well, I don't. Hell no. That's a lot of work, and you know, good luck to you if you want to do that. Yeah, so there we go, guys. The good news is I know I can get them all off and stripped, and I know I'm going to be able to get them back together. I'm going to put these, talking to Martin, we were thinking Coca-Cola. Martin said, I'll Google it, but I think bicarbonate soda or something, or baking powder or something, I don't know. He did tell me the right thing, but I'll go and Google it just to clean these up. They're pretty good actually, though, but just get all that crud off them and get them all nice and new. So we'll do that. Bad news is, I just don't think I've got the will to do those other ones today. I just don't know. It's so difficult, so hard, exhausting. Okay, guys, all four wheels, all the bolts are out. The centre sections are freed up. I'm going to put these in vinegar and Coca-Cola overnight. Hopefully that'll work. If not, make an interesting drink. These nuts are really good quality, actually. Hopefully this will just eat away at the stuff that's baked onto them, like the stale thread locker and stuff. The vinegar will degrease it as well. I don't know if you're supposed to mix the two together. You tell me. I'll be back later on, guys. That's it for today. I had a great method at the end. I was doing it all wrong, stupid way. So it took me like about 2 hours to do the first one. Last one, I had the bolts off that one in about probably 20 minutes, just using the breaker bar and a spanner. That was it. The breaker bar was doing all the clever stuff. Anyway, next step is to get them down to the body shop. Okay, guys, the alloy wheels are back from the body shop. So the centre sections have been painted. That bit's unpainted because that's going to mate up to the original metal, which is great. They've painted the centre caps, which is great. These were in a terrible state, so they look really nice and fresh now. The new badges will go on there. I'm waiting for those to come in. They had to double primer these because they were so bad. They were terrible, but they've come out as good as you're ever going to get them. I'm really happy with them. Really happy with them. Nice amount of thick, clear coat. And they just, you know, they just look really good. What I've got to do now before I reassemble the alloy is polish the metal lip, which they haven't painted. I didn't want to paint them. You know, I want to keep that brilliant metal look. So it's all been done properly. So this needs a really good polish to get this back. So I'm going to start doing that now. I'm just going to use auto sol, not my white diamond, because that's got sealant in it. I want to coat these after they're polished. So I'm just going to use auto sol, and I'm going to use the mini rotary. I'm going to use wool and microfiber, just to have a play around with it. Just hit it really hard. It's going to need a lot of buffing. You could sand these, but it's not really scratched. It's just oxidization, because I'm going to go straight to polishing. Okay, I'll be back and I'll show you some results. Okay guys, I really hope you can see this. Just going to demo polishing out a bit of this. It's messy work. You're going to make loads of mess, unfortunately. Like the oxide that comes off this alloy is black. So I'm just getting the polish over the little bit that I want to hit so it doesn't splatter everywhere. And I'm finding using a 1-inch pad or 40mm pad with a little bit of overhang, so it kind of, you can get into the corner, is working the best. So hopefully you can see this. just bring the camera in. I mean, sand at the start, you might need to sand these really to save time, but I'm just gonna do with what I'm doing. It's working. There's all sorts of crap in here, but that'll be covered by when the bolts go back in. So you can see, it's just a case. It's a battle of attrition. This. You can see the dull finish there, like what it's like after it's been polished. It's just a case of taking your time, really. Although I haven't got much time. Lou's coming around about less than an hour, and I've got to get all 4 done. No chance. But if I can get 1 done, then we can test putting that in. So I've just got to carry on cracking on with it. You can kind of see I'm making progress. It's not too bad. It's messy. Everything's going to be filthy when I'm finished. I have to clean everything down. I'll be back. Okay, guys, so I've been having fun and games. I'll show you where we're at. So that's the unfinished one. That's the finished one. Wow, that's amazing work, John. You're a genius. Not really. It's not really. It's a bit patchy. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. That's about as good as I can get it. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. What have I been doing to get it to this state? Well, I eventually figured out the best way was using the wool pad on a 1 inch. It was just a better size. I could get in there and pressure in a little bit more, but it wasn't getting the tarnishing off. So then I started sanding, and in the end I found the P1000 was like the best. The P3000, I don't know, I'm not a polishing expert, but the P3000 wasn't good enough. So the P1000 was getting into it a bit more, but then I was still really struggling to get the brilliant shine up. So I went and bought a metal polishing thing from Silverline. It doesn't tell you which is the heavy one and the mild one, but I think that's heavy and that's mild. Sounds like a throaty car outside. But anyway, in the end, I found that the foam, it was better to actually use the auto sole with foam to get that final finish. And that really gives you the gloss, but it doesn't give you that deep defect thing. I've ruined Imran's towel. I'm gonna have to get another one of these. Yeah, so I've just got to crack on. Okay, guys, so it's mission complete. Alloy wheels are done. They're all torqued up to the correct spec. I put the thread locker down the threads, and I've flipped them all over and just put another little dab of thread lock around there, just to make sure if they do break their thread, they can't spin off, but they're very unlikely to. Yeah, so they will look great. They need to be balanced up. I'm waiting for some new BMW badges, and I need to get some adhesive paper, like a thick sheet of it, so I can cut it into circles, because that's recessed. So I need to put it in a ring there. If I put a whole circle in, it's going to not sit flush. So I need like a washer made of adhesive paper. You get me? That's it. I'm never going to do this again. Next time I'll just take it to someone that knows what they're doing. I can understand why they charge a lot of money to do split rims, and why most places don't want to do it, because it's just too much work. It's a hell of a lot of work. So there we go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Over and out.